The global war on terror. Beginning in 2001, with estimates showing well over 50 countries either directly or indirectly involved in the major conflict. From humanitarian missions to the special forces capturing and killing of high-value targets. This conflict was one of the largest and longest that humanity has experienced in recent years. You saw the rapid evolution of equipment and tactics, and a new kind of warfare emerge. And on this channel, while we like to talk about the equipment made, we've been on a recent kick of manufactured and custom pieces. Which is why on the Gear.Locker, we're going to talk about some of those gear pieces that are unheard of. You see, local tailors in Afghanistan were making all sorts of clothing and equipment for everyday life. But when installation after base after base were installed around the main central hub of Afghanistan by NATO forces, things shifted just a little bit. Simple clothing, school uniforms, and local police force uniforms weren't necessary for all of these troops and this large customer base that just entered the scene. And this is the birthplace of some of the coolest equipment that ever came out of the global war on terror. Companies like International Co., Dawood Sham's Black Ops Corporation, and Ideal Garments manufactured equipment that was purchased by so many fighters. Whether you were a private military contractor, part of the Afghan National Army, a special forces member from Germany, or a British soldier, you had the opportunity to get your hands on a piece like this. And these kinds of things were not exclusive to Kandahar, Afghanistan. You'll see examples of this in Iraq, with bring-back bags that have little cartoon characters on them. But we're going to focus on Afghanistan today. The ones that I had mentioned, Black Ops Corporation, Dawood Shams, International Co., and Ideal Garments are some of the large names that were there. These tailor shops turned to gear manufacturers overnight, were at the forefront of the customizability. You could walk into the shop, specify what you wanted, and walk out hours to a couple days later with a piece that is custom to your needs. And this is where it gets really cool, because nothing was mass-produced. Every piece that you see is custom tailored to the individual's needs. And in fact, some of them were preferred in use over the issued equipment. Here's one of my favorite pictures of a KSK operator riding a motorbike, not wearing any issued German plate carrier. Instead, he's using a Black Ops Corporation plate carrier. And in addition to pieces like this, you'll see plenty of chest rigs, leg pouches, holsters, and generic pouches as well. However, after 2021, when Afghanistan fell to the Taliban, especially that Kandahar area, these gear pieces kind of disappeared off the face of the earth. We don't know what these manufacturers are doing. We don't know if they even exist anymore. But in collectors' hands, you will find a good number of these pieces floating around. And today I've got one that I've never seen elsewhere. In fact, it's from a company that I've almost never seen any other evidence of. Only one guy mentioned it on a Militaria forum. And the historical and cultural significance is what makes these pieces so cool to me. So that's why I'm proud to introduce this next piece. This is a bag made by Ideal Garments. And as I mentioned, there's only one other reference to this company that I've ever heard of. But as you can see by the tag up here, it says Ideal Garments, made in Kandahar, Afghanistan. And believe it or not, no, this wasn't purchased on eBay. This was found at a local surplus store to me. And knowing how this local shop operates, this is 100% a local bringback. Why it didn't stay with the original owner, I will never know. But this is a beautiful example of a piece made out of necessity. And maybe a little bit of hubris, because this thing is way too large for its floppy construction. What we see right here is a frameless rucksack bag. Whether this is a multi-day assault pack, a medical pack, I don't know, because the only tag and label is the one you see up front. But regardless, you see rows of MOLLE on the front end that can hold pouches or whatever you need. On the side, you'll see 4 zippered pockets. As you'll notice, as I try to open pieces like this, these zippers are extremely low quality. In fact, this one just bent off now. Fix that real quick. Well, that piece broke. That sucks. I would not trust this with any kind of equipment. The pockets do have a rubberized interior liner, but no extra internal organization. They can close decently well. Around corners it's a little tough, but opening them is a whole other challenge. Again, you'll see 2 smaller ones that are sort of cubic and 2 larger rectangular ones up top. And before we get to the inside, let's turn this thing around. Here, you'll see 2 padded shoulder straps. They have some minor adjustment with Nexus repair ladder lock buckles, as well as a waist strap with a no-name buckle here. There is no frame and no padding on the rear of the pack at all. And the attachment to the bag or the lower portion of the strap are 1 to 2 rows of stitching at most. Let's take this bad boy off of the stand and get to talking about some of the features. I would say the standout and most unique feature of this bag is right down here. This lower portion allows for a separate pocket. This one, while not rubberized, does have a little bit of reinforcement on the bottom and can maybe fit shoes or something. On the top of the bag, you have compression straps, which maybe could hold a bedroll or something, but underneath you have a carry handle, separate from the drag handle on the rear. As we open up this internal pocket though, we see a different kind of zipper that is definitely higher quality than the rest, but equally difficult to open, especially around these corners, my goodness. I don't want to break this. And internally, you'll see nothing fancy at all. Minor rubberization for, I guess, some waterproofing, but in all actuality, that's all that you have going on with this bag. The material is a thin cordura at best, maybe more akin to a pack cloth. And again, these zippers are by far the worst part of this. And I'm glad this bag at least survived because it wasn't used at all. This came to me in pretty new condition. However, I can confidently say I would never use this piece. This is a beautiful example of a bygone era, and a gear piece that exemplifies the tailors and ingenuity made in Afghanistan. There are really cool examples of plate carriers and chest rigs and all out there that exist. And I would encourage you to go check them out online if you can. You'll see a lot of those examples sold on eBay listings for a pretty penny sometimes. But they are absolutely pieces of iconic history and something that not a lot of people know about or even associate with what special forces to grunts did overseas. If you have a plate carrier or cool piece like this that you want to sell, let me know. I'm really interested in this stuff. But thank you guys so much for checking out the video. If you got any more info, leave it down in the comments below. There's not a lot that's talked about online. But as always, this is the Gear Locker. We'll see you guys in the next one.